Hello people of the internet, I am Nobody, and today I'm going to talk about a mangaka with a beautiful art style and sublime character design. All this coming from a guy that can draw shit, so take my artistic opinions with a pinch of salt. Izumi Takemoto is a mangaka born in January 19, 1959, in Saitama Prefecture. He has published several manga throughout his career, his first one being Yumemiru Jurai Katto, which can be translated as Dreaming July Cats, in 1981, and his most recent work in 2016 with the manga titled Aruhito Aruhi no Neko Tachi, which can be translated as Cats of Certain Days. As you can kind of see, this guy really likes cats. They're prevalent in most of his manga. If they're not the main focus, they're in the background somewhere, but they're always present in some form. But we're not here to talk about his manga, we're here to talk about video games! And Izumi-san has worked on a few of those, all of them released exclusively in Japan. But don't worry, I'm Nihongo Josu. Kind of. I'll translate it and provide the necessary context to understand the story and whatnot. This is going to be more of an overview, because I'm not beating 3 full games just to make a video. They're not that long, but it'll still take a long time, and I'm lazy, bro, sorry. So I'm gonna be playing just enough so that I can give my opinion, and to know whether or not you can play it with no Japanese and still have fun. The first game that we'll be looking at is Yumimi Mix Remix, pressing that pipe fast. The enhanced version for the Sega Saturn, released in 1995, of the original Yumimi Mix, that released in 1993 for the Sega CD. This title is a playable slice of life anime more than anything. There's no real gameplay other than the choices you make, which may sound boring because it's in Japanese, but guess what? I don't know if you haven't noticed from the footage on screen, but this game has English subs, thanks to a fan translation that released a few years ago. So yeah, if you like what you see, you can go play it. We are put in the shoes of Yumimi Yoshisawa, a high school girl that wakes up from a weird dream about unicorns getting abducted by the ground. Realizing she's got a few minutes before the alarm goes off, she gets up a bit earlier than usual and takes a really long shower. Thus, when she comes out, she is late to school. Her mom asks her if she's going to eat breakfast and does what any college student in her situation would do.
行ってきます。いや、やっぱりご飯食べてくればよかった。はあ、力が入らない。せっかく早く出てきても、こんじゃ遅刻だわ。
When she finally reaches her destination, oh look, the click of the sad face! When she finally reaches her destination, she stumbles upon giant fireflies.
直径30センチもあるようなホタル。
I mean, the cotton candy.
なんだか生き物みたいだから、綿菓子とは違うわ。
I mean, the ghost. Yeah, that makes sense. Then she gets run over by...
あ、クラスメートの桜子ちゃんと松崎くんだ。おーい、桜子ちゃん。
This is Sakurako Sakurasaki, the straight man and tsundere type character, and this is Shinichi Matsusaki, the childhood friend and member of the newspaper club. After the introductions, we fast forward to lunchtime, and Yumimi is telling Sakurako the ghost sighting that she saw in the morning, and Sakurako, like any rational person, says that it's impossible. It could have been cotton candy after all. Then Shinichi comes into the scene and begs for more details, probably because it makes for an interesting headline. Suddenly, Yumimi gets sexually harassed by this guy, which I choose to kick for obvious reasons. It turns out to be the president of the newspaper club, and basically tells Shinichi to go and find out more about these ghosts that our protagonist saw, because if they don't get enough new members by next year, then the club will be closed down. We move forward to the next scene, in which the teacher asks Yumimi to bring him some handouts he forgot on his lap. We choose to be a good girl and go fetch them. Reluctantly. We arrive in the lab, and after questioning why monsters are misogynistic, we leave the room with the papers and what's this? Oh no, the consequences of my own actions. We wake up from our anemia-induced coma, only to find out the little green slimy thingies are completely gone, and in their place are just the papers we were holding before our blackout. While Yumimi is gathering the scattered papers, she notices a cute-looking girl. Thanks to the uniform, we know that she's from middle school. She helps us by picking up a handout, but as our character reaches for the paper, this happens.
大丈夫？探した。見つけた。よかった。探したのよ。穴は縫い合わせたのね。あなたがいない間に、そこら中穴だらけになってしまった。 私、そっちの方の趣味は忘れないでね。愛してるわ。だから私、そっちの方の趣味は好き。
So after lesbian undertones, our cheek-rubbing friend stops and she is visibly confused as to what just happened. Seems like she doesn't remember what she just did. And Yumi is just as perplexed as her. But if you want to find out what happens next, go play the game, cause this is where I'm stopping for this one. I honestly do recommend this game. Go play it. It's fun. Now on to the next game. This is Robupu Cube Lop Salad, released in August 1996 for the Sony PlayStation. It's a cute puzzle game about cubes. We play as this little girl named Salad. She wants to go to the amusement park, but since it's snowing outside, her dad will obviously not let her go. Oh, if only I live in a southern island where the grass is green and the sun is pretty, says Salad to herself. Her uncle, after hearing this, remembers that he met a little penguin that also wanted to live in this southern island during his job.
私、ペンギンのせいです。私も暖かい南の島に行きたいです。ん？私も南の島に行きたいです。連れて行ってください。
ダメだよ。ペンギンなんだから。
行く。南の島に行く。
ダメダメ。
いいもん。自力で行くもん。
Okay, so we're playing a Salad dressed as a cute little penguin, and our objective is to make all the cubes in the stage disappear. I like to describe it as a combination between Puyo Puyo and Catherine, but much simpler in execution. Although the same cannot be said about the puzzles themselves, they can become quite intricate as we're going to see in later stages. But let me explain the basics first. You can push cubes as long as they're not stuck to a wall. Salad can only jump one cube forward, which also elevates her one cube tall, pushing any cube that is in her way. The cubes disappear if 3 or more cubes of the same color collide with each other. All of these accompanied by background music with lyrics sung by Salad herself.
南の島は毎日
Yeah, she's not that good. But fortunately for our eardrums, you can swap the background music on the pause menu by changing it here, which is what I did for most of my playthrough. You're welcome. The first stage is your standard tutorial, nothing too complicated here, just showing you that you can move the cubes and all that. And stage 2 is teaching you the properties of how cubes behave when you jump to them close to a ledge. This mechanic holds pivotal importance, as it's one of the only methods for inducing cube movement besides direct pushing, of course. Oh, I also forgot to mention that you can only push cubes, no pulling or lifting. If you get a cube stuck in a corner, that's probably game over. Stage 3 is showcasing that you can make stairs with the cubes to reach higher places. We also learned that cubes can kill you if they fall on top of you. This level gave me a hard time, to be honest. I tried about 15 times before opening the pause menu and realizing that there's a hint system in this game, which is kind of insane because I will probably make it one of the first puzzle games with a hint system. And the way it works is not how you would expect. It doesn't just show you the CPU do the full puzzle and that's it. It actually makes use of the retry counter. Based on the number of retries you had done on the stage, that's the number of hints you can see. And when you run out of retries to spend for the hints, it just lets you take control right where the CPU left off. That's really sophisticated for a hint system in 1996. Props to whoever thought of that. It's not perfect, since you can just farm retries by restarting the level over and over again, but it's cool that they give some thought into this little aspect of the experience so that the player doesn't feel frustrated. You know that with each failure, you're a bit closer to beating it in some way, because you can stop the hints whenever you want, so that way you don't have the full puzzle spoiled if you don't want to. The stages 4 and 5 are nothing special, more on the easy side. Beat them both with my first try. 6 is a bit more challenging, requiring you to know how to organize falling cubes correctly on top of each other to make sure they don't disappear before you want them to. Stage 7 is tough, mostly just because it's hard to figure out what to do at first. But besides that, it's not that complex. Although it's cool that you can fire off a combo of disappearing cubes, something akin to a Puyo Puyo chain. It brought a smile to my face. Stage 8 is brain dead simple when you finally figure out what to do, but it took me a lot of tries and even using the hints. Maybe I'm just bad at this game. Stage 9 is not that hard, just testing your spatial awareness for organizing cubes on multiple stacks. A fun puzzle nonetheless. And we reached the final level of the first chapter. Yeah, I just straight up gave up on this one, to be honest. Even started farming retries to reveal most of the puzzle. It took me 30 retries and my dignity, but I beat it. And after the hell that was stage 10, we are treated to a cute illustration of the penguin. She actually reached the island. Yay! And we also have the ending cutscene.
それで行けたのその子南の島
いや南に行ったらそこは南極点だったんだね。
ルプ
That's enough about the story mode. I was gonna delve a bit deeper into it, but I think it's more interesting to talk about the other game modes that are here. Let's take a look at action mode, which is literally Puyo Puyo, but you can die. I don't like this one. I don't think the mechanics are strong enough to survive without the handcrafted levels. Just as core attack with an increasing tempo the longer you survive. A nice touch is that you can start from level 10 or 20 if you want to skip the slow start. On the other hand, we have this mode called Battle. It's the same as action mode, but this time it's multiplayer, which makes this one inherently more interesting. If you're wondering why the characters are moving the exact same way, it's because I plugged my controller in both ports inside the emulator. I don't have friends. Anyhow, the rules are straightforward. Survive longer than your opponent. Simple but a compelling challenge nonetheless. I'm pretty sure this will be really fun with another player that knows what they're doing. And that was Rupupu Cube, a fun little puzzle game. You can play this game with no Japanese and still have a good time. The only thing you're missing is the context for the story. The story itself is nothing groundbreaking, it's more like flavor text, so you aren't missing much. The next and last game on our list is Click Manga Kuriku no Hi, which can be translated as Click Day, for the Sony PlayStation in 1999. You don't really play as a character per se, you instead control this cursor. Thankfully, the cursor changes whenever we hover over something clickable, and since this box is the only thing in the room, we naturally click on it. We are greeted by this title screen that spells Day of the Puzzle before being dismantled. The first puzzle is to arrange the letters in the correct order. Luckily, a brief glimpse of the completed sign flashes from time to time. After finishing this, we can move on to the next screen. Our next endeavor is to complete the jigsaw puzzle in the door, so that it materializes and lets our protagonist out of her room. We do this by simply dragging the pieces and dropping them on the door. A sound effect will occur if we place them on the correct spot. After building the door into existence, we can read the sign that says Moyoko's room. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that's the name of our girl right here. In the next panel, we see Moyoko's mom, and Moyoko tries to explain to her that the door in her room turned into a jigsaw puzzle, but she doesn't seem to notice anything out of the ordinary. But at least Moyoko herself understands that she's inside a picture book of some kind, thanks to the pull tab mechanisms moving her mother up and down. So we use another of these pull tabs to open the main door. In the next panel, we're presented with someone calling out to Moyoko, but we don't know who she is because her face is all messed up in this sliding puzzle. I really like sliding puzzles. This one isn't particularly hard, but while I was doing the puzzle, the game asked me if I wanted to give up. It's good that the option is there. Maybe if you're a 5-year-old or a game journalist, this can come in handy. But I did the puzzle a normal way because I'm a true gamer. That was cringe, I'm sorry. After solving the sliding puzzle, we can finally appreciate the full illustration of what appears to be Moyoko's friend. Her name is Nori. And after some reminiscing about this strange world of puzzles, we move on to the next panel. Something that caught me a bit off guard is this question, which essentially asks how many rabbits appear in this manga. I give my best guess, 5, which ultimately turns out to be incorrect. There's no penalty, not that there could be any, just the game encouraging me to try again next time. After that, we return to our hub, where more boxes have appeared. I choose the one on the lower left corner, because it's silver. I like silver. And the theme of this manga is winter, and our first puzzle is to make these rotating letters spelled out, Snowy Winter Day. To be honest, I didn't know that, I just shuffled them randomly till I got something readable. On the next panel, we see Moyoko trying to make a big snowball for the snowman she's building. Then we help her out with the finishing touches, and the snowman is completed. But the snowman building frame over here isn't satisfied, so she's questioning herself about how many more she should make. I was gonna put 99, but you cannot repeat numbers, so I put a feasible amount of 12. Glad I choose that because we have to place them ourselves. Fortunately, there's enough space. Then after some snow digging action in the next panel, we arrive at the end of this manga with Moyoko waking up but choosing to go back to sleep because it's still snowing outside. Following that, we are brought back into the green screen realm, where even more boxes have appeared. This time I choose the one on the top left corner. This manga is less of a story and more of an introduction card for each character. At least we have some cute illustrations to look at. First, we have Moyoko. She is 15 years old, 1.48 meters tall, and has perfect vision. And she is the protagonist of this game, of course. Next, we have Moyoko's best friend, Nori-chan. Her full name is Noriko Suzuki, standing at 1.48 meters tall, and can play trombone, apparently. And now a character we haven't seen before, Toru Ogasawara. He is Moyoko's boyfriend. Well, depending on the story you choose, he may or may not be his boyfriend yet. Thanks for spoiling me, I guess. He is 1.7 meters tall. Now onto Moyoko's mom. She's a housewife. That's it. Moyoko also has a lot of pets, including a cat of course, a rabbit, a dog, and a penguin. And with that we come to the end of this manga. Kinda weird that it'll make you play this after beating the first one, but it's an inoffensive pacing issue. You don't really need to know much about the characters to enjoy the game. Hell, it's not like this manga teaches us something remarkable anyway. Although it would be weird if this was the last manga you played. And once again we come back to the hub. No new boxes though. This time I opt for the one in the top right corner. And the theme of this one is Girls' Day, or Maiden's Day? Something like that. We start this manga with Moyoko and Nori-chan on their way to school. Suddenly, this random cat appears and makes Moyoko almost fall to her death. But luckily, Toru is there to save the day, and leaves her two girls behind. Noriko thinks that Toru is kinda cute, but Moyoko doesn't seem to care, until Noriko mentions that he did just save her life just there. Then our daydreaming protagonist starts to think what would have happened if he didn't show up. We fast forward to lunchtime, and this pesky cat causes Moyoko to trip once more. But what a coincidence! Toru is here again to catch her just in time. Her lunch didn't survive though, so in an act of kindness, our little stalker gives Moyoko some bread before telling her to watch her step and disappearing once more. I think it's safe to say that Moyoko's into this guy. I mean, look at this face. Just because he gave you some food, you think he's a good guy? Nori-chan says. And that's the end of this manga. But instead of just ending, we get this continue message. Man, I wonder how will this relationship play out. But I don't know if you've been looking at the runtime, but this video is almost over. So, can you play click manga with no Japanese? I would say, nope. I'm pretty sure you can play it, but that doesn't mean you should. I would recommend learning basic Japanese before tackling this one, so you can have a much better appreciation of it. Or wait 10 years till someone translates the full game. Good luck with that one, cause I'm not doing that. Not for free at least. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, wrapping up the video. Izumi-san is a really talented artist, as you can see in his illustrations throughout his games. I especially like the way he draws faces. They're simplistic in nature, but can still express lots of emotions when they need to. I also really like his animals. They're kinda weird looking sometimes. They still look adorable. I wanna hug them so bad. Look at this thing, what the hell is this? I don't know, it looks so cute. You can support him by buying his mangas on Amazon Japan. A few of his works are not in stock, but most of his latest ones are still selling brand new on there. So yeah, go check him out. Maybe in the future I'll do another one of his videos where I talk about his games, because we still got a few to check out. Anyway, that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you whenever I feel like making another video. Goodbye.